Hello, everyone. I'm here today just to go through some of the most important questions people have been asking about the presidential proclamation suspending the entry of immigrants and non-immigrants visas. For non-immigrant visas, those who are holding the work visas. As you all know that we have received the proclamation already, which came out on June 22nd when it was signed. But there are so many questions. So these questions have been answered, some of them. So this, as I've been mentioning to people, let me start. So the State Department, through their official Twitter account, the Bureau of Consular Affairs, has been, in case you haven't followed it, please just go ahead and follow it. They have decided to go ahead and answer. They ask a question, have a question about a presidential proclamation suspending the entry of immigrants and immigrants holding certain work visas. We have assembled a list of frequently asked questions to help you find answers. Expanding this to read the full list of frequently asked questions. So after posting that one, people went ahead and asked so many questions. So I want to go ahead and responding just to read some of the questions, and you can be able to get some of the answers for those who have been looking for the answers. So before I go that, I would like you to go to my YouTube channel, which is, as you all know, my YouTube channel, which is that one. Okay, let me put on. Yeah, so if you go to my YouTube channel, which is EBM Scholars channel, and remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel, you can be able to check. There are so many videos which you can be able to go about it. And if you come, so I've been making the videos, some they're specifically for this kind of suspension, they're here. But if you go down here, you'll find all the questions about immigration, the V lottery, if you want specific for the results, or green card in general, or if you want the DSC 260 questions, what step to follow, visas for student visa, tourist visas, they are there. So those are the things I want to make sure that you know all these resources are there. But don't forget to go to my Twitter account and be able to subscribe. And the easy way to go to my Twitter account, if you come on my YouTube here, and then you see the sign of Twitter, you just click there, it will take you directly to Twitter account. If you want to go to my Instagram and to be able to subscribe to my Instagram, you can go there and be able also to subscribe. I also have so many updates on all those kind of areas. So let's go ahead into the this Twitter account for Department of State, Bureau for Bureau for Consular Affairs, and start reading these kind of answers, question answers. So the first question is, which, let me zoom this one so that you can have, no, not install. Okay, so the first question is, which visas are affected with the proclamation, which was given it on June 2nd? So the proclamation announced on June 22nd and extended which extends the proclamation 10014 for certain immigrants visas that include H1B, H2B, L visa, and J visa applications. So this is in addition to the original proclamation 10014. The original proclamation was for specific for immigrant visas. So this is adding, in addition to that one, is going to extend to that one. And we all know that this one will be going until December. Another question. I have an approved H1B, H2B, JOL petition, and I'm waiting for my interview. What does this mean for me? The answer is suspension of entry applies to any alien who does not have non-immigrant visa that is valid on the effective date of this proclamation. So if you have the visa on hand, it doesn't affect you. But if you don't have, for whatever reason, this affects you from June 22nd. Another question, I'm already in the United States on H1B, H2B, JOL visa. What does this mean to me? The proclamation does not retroactive. That means it does not affect you. No valid visas will be revoked under this proclamation. So if you have already have the visa, either before you travel to America or you are already in America, you have a stamp on the visa, it is not going to affect you. It's not going to be retroactive. You already have it, you have it. And you all know that on the J1 visas, there are some exceptions. So the question is, which J1 visas are subject to the proclamation? So the answer is the proclamation applies to J1 visa holders participating in an intern, trainee, teacher, camp counselor, a peer, or summer work travel program, and any alien accompanying or following to join such alien. So this means those who are coming as Fulbrighters, for instance, you are coming as exchange, you are coming as a researcher, you are coming to teach at the university on the special kind of the way, this one does not affect you. This is what I understand. I have a valid H1B, H2B, or J1 visa, and my children or spouse have derivative visas. Can we enter to the United States? So, those with a valid visa is of June 24th. Remember, June 22nd is when the proclamation was given, but it is started to be implemented on June 24th. So if you have valid visas as of June 24th, are not subject to the proclamation. However, those whose visas expire and apply for the renewal are subject to the proclamation. So these people have valid visas, and the derivative means the dependents, they have the visas there, but they are still outside of the United States. Can they come to the United States? The answer is yes, because they have the valid visas. But if you are in the valid visa is going to expire, you cannot be able to renew because you are subject to the proclamation. Another question is, I'm a physician, am I exempt? So usual, when we are talking for H1B visas, for instance, there are visas which are dealing with a certain kind of people in the medical profession. So they are saying physicians applying for J1 visa, or I mean even H1, whatever, are not subject to the proclamation. Physicians seeking to enter the United States on H1B or L visa to provide medical care or are involved in research related to COVID-19 may be considered for exceptions. So you have to know that. I'm in the United States, another question. I'm in the United States on H1B, H2B, L or J1 visa, but my visa will expire before December 31st. Can I extend my stay? The answer is visa expiration is a separate from authorized stay. For questions about extending authorized stay, we refer you to the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services. So basically, the answer is you have to go to ask for extension to the USCIS for extension. That is the simple way, because you are already in the US. But if you are outside the US, you cannot be able to, your visa is expiring and you are out of the US. Basically, you have to go to the US embassy to get the visa interview. You cannot be able to do that. I'm in the US on H1B, H2B, L or J1 visa, but my visa will expire before, oh, I answered that one. Before that one, can I renew my visa? So a visa holders, all visa holders already legal in the United States do not need to renew their visas to remain in the US. But if you depart in the United States, you will need a valid visa to return. This is the question related to this one. This one, if it expires before this one, you want to extend. But this one is, can you renew, not extend? Extend and renew is different. If you are already in the US, you don't need to renew your visas. But if you are outside of the United States, yes, you have to renew. Will this impact the diversity visa applicant? This is a very good question. So listen very careful, people who have been asked this kind of question. And I will make a separate video about that one. Will this impact the diversity visa applicant? The answer is the diversity visa program has multiple stages. The DV 2021 applicants won't be interviewed until the fiscal year 2021. And remember, when we say fiscal year 2021, fiscal year starts in October 1st. But because, however, the suspension does apply to DV applicants with certain exceptions. The proclamation will expire on December 31st unless extended. So if the expiration is December 31st, despite the fact that the fiscal year starts on October 1st, 2021, I mean 2020 is the October fiscal year starts. So, but the interviews will start in January because the proclamation will expire on December 31st. So, unless otherwise it's going to be extended, that will be a different story. But basically, up to this moment, if you are the V lottery winner for 2021, you'll be able to start the visa interview on January 1st, 2021. What does this mean? This question hasn't been asked, but what does this impact the people who have the V Lottery 2020? The V Lottery 2020, it means those people who applied in the year 2018, results came out 2019 in May, and they are processing from October 2019 to end of September 2020. Because this is going to affect this suspension is until December. Basically, the fiscal year or their fiscal year for the V 2020 is ending on September 30th, end of September. Basically, the V 2020 winners will not be able to process at all. So that those who haven't have the actual visa on hand, it has affected them. They will not be able to come under this one. Okay. These are now the questions people are asking direct, and the Department of Justice is responding. When will emergency visa appointments begin in the consulate of Kathmandu, Nepal? I'm physician and waiting for J1 visa to join my residence. So the department is hello, please monitor their website for updates regarding the availability for the visa services. You know that there are some of the embassies they have still closing, some they have started opening. Okay, another question. I came to India in February 2020 for H1B stamping and I received 2021 G app. My current I-797 is valid till December 2020. Can my employer apply for H1B extension when I'm in India in November 2020? Please explain. Hi, Surya. If you do not have a valid visa as of June 2020, the suspension of entry will apply to you, even if you have approved the petition from the Department of Homeland Security. Individuals with valid visas as of June 24 are not subject to this proclamation. Another question, will this impact H4 visas, stamping and entry till December 31st? So when we're saying H4 visas are the visas issued by the US government or the immigration in general to the immediate family members of H1B visas. So the question is, that's correct. It will not affect, that's correct. Will not be issuing H1B, H2B, J1 visa, certain J1 visas and their derivatives through December 2020, unless others there is exceptions. When will the V 2020 non-immigration interview be resumed at the embassy in Cairo? So this is a very good question. I answered it there at the top. Hello, we do not have a tentative date for the resumption of routine visa services at this time. Please monitor this one for the website for that one. But remember, they didn't, the same question for DRC, but remember, this question, they didn't answer the question like how it's supposed to be answered, in my opinion. This person wants to ask specifically for the V 2020. Obviously, the V 2020, you cannot have interview at all because the exemption, the proclamation is until December. And the deadline for the interview for the V 2020 winners is until end of September. So obviously, when they are going to resume to give the immigrant visas, especially for immigrant visas, it will be gone. So you'll not be able to do that. Okay, so when application for student visa start, there are many visas which are suspended, but will F1 visa application resume for the fall 2020? Obviously, it's not. Students are not supposed to having that one. So F1 visas are not addressed in this proclamation. We do not have a tentative date for the resumption of routine visa process at this time. Please monitor consulate into their specific website. But something to add on the student visas. Why is not is not applicable? Student visas are not coming here to be employees. They are coming here to study. Yes, you can be working those kind of part-time jobs like 20 hours per week, but that is not considered as a real employment, like in the matter of employment, of securing employment for people here in America. Okay, another question from Mohammed. Okay, I needed to know when the U.S. Embassy in Cairo will be reopening. I'm DV 2020 selectee, and I need a true answer if the DV 2020 interviews will be resumed or not. Please don't answer me with the text of the proclamation. I'm sorry, but I needed to know the date exactly. Yeah, still the State Department is going to monitor that way. Let me answer you, Mohammed. The true answer is if you are DV 2020, I'm sorry, you will not be able to get any interview. This is the truth, because the proclamation ends in December, and the V2020, the last day of the interview is September 30th. So if the last day of the interviews is September 30th, at that time, proclamation will still be valid. So you cannot be able to get immigrant visas at that time. So for the V lottery winners 2020, I'm sorry, that will be over. You cannot be able to get that one. The only people who have that will be able to survive will be the V lottery winners of 2021, because their interviews will not start on October 1st. The interviews will be starting in January, because the fiscal year for the V 2020 ends in September 2020. And from October 1st, 2020 is the new fiscal year. 2021, the V lottery winners will start. I'm on H1B in India, have a valid stamp which expires in August 2020. As of June 24th, I'm not affected by the proclamation. Does that mean I can renew my visas once embassy opens, or I will not be eligible to renew until December 2020 and not allowed to enter into the United States upon visa expiration? So, because you have a valid visa, obviously you can come direct to America. So individuals with visas expiring and wish to apply for the renewal will be subject to expiration, but will not be issuing the H1, the visas and their derivatives through this one, unless otherwise exceptions. But because you have a valid stamp on your passport, you can still travel to come to America. Okay, how does this proclamation affect nurses who want to apply for the visa to work into the United States? Okay, so Elena, I don't know how to pronounce her name. So physicians applying for J1 visas are not subject to this proclamation. Physicians seeking to enter on H1B and L visas to provide medical care or research COVID-19 may be considered for exception. Will this, the question is, will this impact the F4 category? So let's see. These are my last month from 13 years of waiting. So F4, the F4, what does the F4 mean? So this is the fourth preference family visas. You know, if you're a sibling of a US citizen, or visas are the siblings of the US permanent resident want to reunite with their families. So that is they are talking about it. So this proclamation does not affect the categories of F4 visas. Like that means it doesn't affect if you want to join your family. You'll be continue to wait if you have been waiting for that. Okay, another question is hi, my husband is on H1 and is in the US. I'm on H4 and came to my home country with my daughter who is a US citizen. I had an appointment for the visa stamping, but constantly causes it 2 days before my interview due to COVID-19. Am I affected by executive order? How can I travel back to US? So this is a very tough situation. Okay, so hi, Judy, we will not be issuing the visas and derivatives until that one. So this is the question, like, let me answer you directly. If you don't have the visa stamp on your passport, you cannot be able to come. Your daughter is a US citizen. Your daughter can come back to America if the husband comes to India, comes to your country and come back with the children. But for you, because you don't have the visa stamp, you cannot come as H4, as the derivative or dependent of H1, unless others you can come as a student if you want, and down the road you can go and change it. But direct you cannot come. They cannot give you the visa stamp unless others you have already a visa stamp to come to US. And having a US child does not give you any privilege at all in America, unless others your child is 21 years old and is a US citizen, can be able to sponsor you to give you a green card. That's the only exception. But to have a US child, US citizen child doesn't give you any kind of that's another question, which is some sort of related. I'm on H1 visa due for renewal. Interview got cancelled due to the COVID. I'm with my 11th twin US citizen sons. Will I be able to get a stamp on my H4 as my spouse is in the US as H1B holder? So, if you have the, the US Embassy will not be able to issue any visa, H1 visa, H4 is independent. But if you said you are on H4 visa, due for renewal. So if it's not renewed yet, but your visa is still valid for a couple months, get into the plane, come back to US before it expires. You are allowed to use, if your visa is still valid, it hasn't been expired yet, you can be able to travel. But having twins who are US citizens does not give you any privilege at all. Unless others, your children are 21 years old, they can be able to petition for you to be given a green card. Out of that, having children who are US citizens doesn't give you any kind of advantage or privilege. Is H4 affected even though H1B is in the US? Obviously, yes. Yeah. So this is some of this it was not answered, but that is the already. I have a visa until October. I'm planning to travel in the middle of September. So will there be a problem at the port? And when is the best time to travel back to US? So hi, Angel. No valid visas will be revoked under this proclamation. For questions about entering to the US, please refer to Customs and Border Protection, CBP. But this is the easy, let me help you. Your visa is valid until October. You're planning to travel in the mid-September. Why are you waiting until mid-September to enter into the US? Now it is in June. Travel before. If it's going to be expiring in October and you're coming in the middle of September, you'll be having a very tough chance to go through customs. You can come, but don't put yourself into those kind of tough situations. If there are flights in August, travel as soon as possible. Don't wait until October. You'll be, in mid-September, you'll be in trouble. You never know what will happen at the port. Dear Sao, Madam, I have two questions. I stay in the US on a valid L visa, and my wife is in India waiting for the dependent L2 visa. Will she be able to appear for the visa interview and subsequently enter to US? Question two, will the consulate reopen? Obviously, they will open, but when? They will tell you to continue checking the embassy. And the first question, they will not give the visa. So we will not be issuing H1 visa, H2B, L visa, or certain J1 visas, and the derivatives through December, that one, unless there is an exception applies. We do not have a tentative date for the resumption of the visa services at this time. So in the simple way is, your wife cannot be able to be given the visa until after December. My wife had a H4 visa interview, and and he got 221G subsection B in mid-March, and he was cleared and got white slip to submit passport for stamping. She submitted passport, and then schedule and the consulate was closed. Will this impact? So this is how it is, even if they are telling about June, because if the embassy, they told you, when you stamp your visa, you are given the white slip, come on Friday, come on this day to pick up your visa. So you are told to come on that particular date to get your visa. That means the visa passport is over there and is going to be stamped. So obviously your visa passport will be stamped already. So when the embassy opens, the passport will be having the visa. That is what I know. So obviously, once the U.S. embassy opens, your wife needs to communicate with the embassy and go to pick up the passport. And I bet the passport will be having that visa, because before the COVID-19, the passport will be able to be stamped because it was already approved. So because embassy continue to, even if the embassy closed because of the COVID, they closed it to contact with the people. But inside the embassy, to stamp those passports continued as normal. So your answer, I think I've been able to give that kind of answer. Okay, I'm in the US since 2017 with a pending asylum. Can I change my status for a green card if I won the DV 2020 lottery visa? So they ask for question about adjustment of status. Please contact USCIS. My answer will be, if you have won the DV 2020 lottery, that will be a tough one. You can apply, even if you have a pending asylum, you can apply adjustment of status at the same time. It doesn't affect you. So you can go ahead and apply. But remember, there are some exceptions if you are in the US versus if you are outside, because the original proclamation for the immigration was affecting people to enter to America, not people who are already in America. So you can go ahead and do that, or you communicate with the USCIS to get the clear answer. I'm currently in the US. My wife is in India with no visa stamping yet. Does the proclamation affect? Yes, it will affect you if you don't have the visa stamp on your passport. Okay. Please let us know if H1B approved. The petition holder have already completed their biometric and waiting for consulate interview alone. Interview was cancelled because of the COVID. Will they go ahead and take the interview once the consulate is open? Obviously, no. They're not going to do that because it will be until December. H1 approved the letter is with me. I came to India for stamping in March 2020, but embassies are closed. I'm stuck here. Will my H1B visa be stamped? Please help. No. They will not be able to stamp if you don't have the stamp. I'm so sorry for that very tough situation you are in. Hello, I have approved the petition and left the US in the middle of February to apply for H1B visa stamp. I'm in H1B status since early February and my interview was on February 13. Does that mean that once my visa is issued, I will not be able to enter into the US? So these are two things. Do you have the visa stamp? You applied. If you did the interview and you have the visa stamp, you can come. If you don't have the visa stamp yet, you cannot. What happened to the international students who are enrolled in the fall but have not been able to apply for the F1 visas because the suspension of the routine visa services? Are they exempt or they fall apart for this category? No. This category they are answering, F1 visas are not addressed in the presidential proclamation. So that means the students are allowed to, you are coming as a student, you are coming as a tourist, you are allowed to continue to go to the US Embassy and do the visa interview as normal. It doesn't affect you at all. The only thing it will affect is just check the US Embassy if it's opened and go ahead. What about K1 visas? They are non-immigrant visas also. K1 visas, for those who do not know, K1 visas are the fiancé visas, are not addressed in this proclamation. So that means you can go ahead and get the application as possible. Is current K1 visa holder affected? They've already answered that one. The proclamation does not address K1 visas. For questions about entry into the United States, please refer to CBP, which is Customs and Border Protection. Okay, I have been in the US for 14 years now, and I have a valid 797. I will not be replacing any American workers on re-entry. There are around 1,000 people like me stuck outside. Please add this. So these are some of the questions they haven't been able to answer them, so they'll come to answer them. I don't want to be here and try to answer all these kind of I don't want to start to answer all these kind of questions. So let me end up here. So what I'm going to do is, okay. So if it's still pending, you don't have the visa, you don't have the visa stamp, I'm sorry, that will be difficult. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put this link on my description on this video. You can be able to go and check more questions and answers. You can be able to get your answers from the customs, from the State Department. So if you have any question, I will be able to put this one as I've said, and try to go ahead and follow them. For myself, what I've done is just to make sure that I follow them, and this is how I do. By following them, that means I can get all these updates. So you can be able to get all the questions and answers from them. Apart from that, remember to go ahead and follow me here on my my profile. You can be able to follow me on my Instagram, which is the EBM Signature, and there is EBM Scholars. I have 2 accounts. And also remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Apart from that, I wish you all the best, everyone. And I'm sorry for those who have been highly affected by this one.